proposed hotel on Paris Mountain is not only facing some opposition, they may face some zoning issues as well. Our Clancy Carter looked into it.
As you can see on this map, the northern part of the property, outlined in red, is zoned as an environmentally sensitive district in order to protect Paris Mountain. This means the owners could only build about 18 homes on the property. However, the southern part, outlined in orange, is zoned multifamily, meaning they are allowed to build almost 400 residential units. The Divine Group claims building the hotel would benefit the preservation of nature through conservation of 20 acres of land that could otherwise be used for residential development. Ben Allier, who has lived on Altamont Road for 8 years, says that while he has an open mind, he does not think building the hotel is the only or the wisest option.
If you're trying to force one direction by saying, hey, there's only one other option, that's untrue. It's a threat. I've seen enough accidents living here to know that that's only going to increase when you get more new people driving the road. Leaving a New Year's Eve party and you've had a couple of drinks, or you're leaving a wedding. The scars on the trees on this curve are a testament to people's poor judgment. And that's going to increase. That would, because the nature of a hotel is that you have visitors. And so, it's different than it being a neighbor to people and the traffic that's coming, or people going to their houses where they live. The Change.org petition against the development of the hotel, they're closing in on 12,000 signatures, but looking at the verified information for people, so it's people, name and address. Over 1,000 of those signatures are people with a Travelers Rest address, so within the actual boundaries of Travelers Rest. And there's only 8,000 residents as of the last census, so that's a huge chunk of people that are aware of it and that are also against it.
Some Furman students are getting involved.
What this development's going to do is it's going to have a lot of ecological impacts on the environment. It's a home for many, many animals and organisms, and it's a very delicate ecosystem up there. So the hotel's fine. Putting it on top of Paris Mountain is the big issue here, and then going around. So they have to go around and use a backdoor tactic to unzone the land as it's currently zoned as an environmentally sensitive district. It'd be completely different if it was already for residential or commercial zoning. But it's just the way that they're going about this is so sneaky and underhanded.
Us as young people, us as just residents of this area, we have power to stop this.
In order for the zoning to be changed, the Divine Group would have to petition the county council to rezone the northern part of the property. The county must then hold 3 hearings for public comment on the rezoning.
Hundreds attended the meeting about the inn at Altamont's development. Our Clancy Carter was there too, and she spoke with the Divine Group CEO, Kurt Patel, about their plans.
Can you tell me about how you're going to approach the zoning issues with the land?
Within the county, we have 2 portions of land. This portion of land, we'll call Parcel B, is currently entitled for RM20 multifamily development. This portion of land is currently entitled under the Environmental Sensitive Overlay District. However, the key is, if I was to combine the 2 parcels and make this my dedicated access, this in fact now reverts to RM20. So within the county, under the existing ordinance, all of this could be developed as multifamily development today. We found that this was not the highest and best use for the land, and that's why we're presenting something that has a conservation aspect as well as a development aspect.
I spoke with Mayor Brandy Amadon about the annexation process.
For us on council, we have to make decisions for the whole good of Travelers Rest, but we also have to have the same information. So we're kind of all holding to say, when you as the developer have all the information ready for us, then we can look at this and make an opinion. 8 or 7 years ago, we put in a first step for a community meeting for anyone that's going to annex into the city or a rezoning. So say it's like an existing property, but they want to change it to something else. And part of that was just for more transparency and more communication from the actual people doing the job, so they could meet with the community and kind of take input and feedback before they applied with the city. So for example, in this scenario, first step is that community meeting, which they've had. Then they would need to officially file with the city. And so this would be an annexation request and a rezoning kind of all together. And then once we have that data, kind of like a packet that has all the things in it that we would need, it goes to the Planning Commission. And our Planning Commission is a group of residents. They're not elected officials or anything like that. They're appointed by council, and they are more knowledgeable in more of the planning side, annexation, zoning, and then they take the feedback from the city, take all the documentation for requests for annexation or rezoning, and then they vote and make a recommendation to city council. Part of the planning commission is also have public hearing. So you would open it up to the public and everyone come, it's usually like 3 minutes or something like that, and voices their concerns or, for or against, or even just ask questions. So we would have all that information at the council level that then we would vote on the project together. Typically it comes out of committee and then it goes to full council. So you have first reading, make any changes or do any further analysis, or just like, hey, we didn't think about this. This gives us a whole nother month to go back. And then that second final reading is when it's, kind of cast in stone. It's their right to request annexation. It just has to be congruent. So the property has to touch the existing city limits. Annexation is how you can kind of control growth or not. And so as you're thinking about the city of Travelers Rest, for example, we're not trying to grow into a big city. I think people forget that because national politics are just so divisive, but we're nonpartisan, so we don't have that Democrat Republican conversation. We all live here and want what's best for our communities.
You may have heard about a new hotel that is planned to be built on Paris Mountain. We sent Clancy Carter to the meeting to find out what it was all about.
Thanks, Sydney. I'm here at the Younts Conference Center, where a meeting would have been held between the local community and the developers of the new inn at Altamont. That meeting was postponed. However, not everyone got the word. Sherry Sutton is an activist who showed up at Younts for the meeting, only to find the doors locked.
We understand the meeting was postponed, and they will be redoing it.
Last week, the Divine Group, a Greenville-based company, announced their plans to build the inn at Altamont. The luxury hotel will feature 150 guest rooms, a ballroom, a pool and spa, and an event lawn, capable of hosting up to 2,000 people. People who live in Travelers Rest have expressed concern that the hotel will damage the natural environment.
As we stand here at Timmons Arena, and I look out at Paris Mountain, which I've been looking at it for a long time, like I say, and born and raised here, and it would decimate, I don't know the acreage, but it would decimate the wildlife.
Alan Mitchell is a Greenville County Council member. He also showed up at the postponed meeting to learn more.
I feel like as a county council person especially, I need to learn about the project because it probably will come before us for either zoning or some other approval. So here I am. Unfortunately, there's no meeting. I'm sure it'll be rescheduled, and when it is rescheduled, I'll be able to come back and learn. But on my way here, I was driving up Poinsett Highway, and I was looking at Paris Mountain, and I said, not sure where they're proposing to put this, but Paris Mountain is starting to get scarred with development. We're losing a lot of our trees. We're losing a lot of our nature.
On the Divine Group website, they have a notice that reads, "The capacity of the space reserved for our information session at Furman is limited to around 300 people. Even though it might push back the timing of our submittal, we are postponing the event until we can find a space large enough to accommodate all who wish to come speak with us and learn more about the project." The lack of event space further underscores the unique way the inn at Altamont can provide for the city of Travelers Rest. Sutton says she was disappointed she didn't know about the postponement, but she hopes the next generation will join her in the next meeting.
I just am tired of seeing our land here in Greenville and all around down to Malden, Simpsonville, here in Travelers Rest, all the way now into Liberty and Pickens being raped, all for power and money. And it comes to power, money, and greed in my eyes. That's my